All right, it's now November 15th. Time just keeps on slipping into the future as, oh God, I can't remember the band now. Steve Miller Band once said. Anyways, we're back here with another update on the Golden Globes. We're 3 weeks, I think, almost to the day. Yeah, 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks from today is when the Golden Globes announced their nominations. I know boy, that's coming up quick. I know, and with Thanksgiving is a week from today, the day I'm recording this, so it's like, yeah, that really puts things into perspective for you. Anyway, so I haven't really talked about like there's the song category and the music category. Foreign language is kind of a different beast. That one, this year it looks like we're really just looking at Roma, Cold War. Let's see what else is popular this year with the foreign films. Those two I know are big ones. There's a couple other ones here and there that I've heard hit and miss, so we'll see where they land. But usually, Globes tend to follow the trend of where the Oscars are going. So I think we'll catch up more on that one later. I think as more information comes out. Anyways, so in the meantime, here I do have predictions for all the other categories. So that includes the two music categories: animated feature, the screenplay race, director, all the acting races, and the two picture categories. Anyways. So for song, I think starting off with that one, we'll work our way up. Lady Gaga, yeah, probably "Shallow," "I'll Never Love Again," one of those two. Same as the Oscars, I think it's one of those two are going to win really everywhere, depending on which one they want to go with. But "Shallow," I think, is the big one right now. It's one of the first songs in the film, and it's. I know it was only posted on YouTube actually a few weeks ago. They kind of waited on that one for whatever reason. It's like almost all the other songs I think were released as the movie came out or a week early or something like that. But "Shallow," for whatever, I think they waited on that one, or at least it didn't pop up on Lady Gaga's official YouTube or whatever for a while. So, anyways, I'll have more to say about Lady Gaga in a minute, by the way. But anyways, I do think that she's almost guaranteed a win in this category across like the Globe, the Globe for original song, Critics' Choice original song. Um, we'll see the Oscars as well probably follow the trend there. Yeah, I would think really everywhere she's got a chance to win, she'll probably do it there. Like we said, Sia's got a song from Vox Lux. Don't know the title of it yet, but she'll probably get in. Let's see, Mary Poppins Returns will probably have a song get in there. And then there's kind of a trend that they like to do here at the Globes where an animated film, if it has a song, it'll get in, like Ferdinand did last year, and I think there might have been one more last year that we've forgotten about. But there's one from Smallfoot, which is in my predictions for the Globes for animated. Finally Free, which I think that one will get in. Okay, the original score category here, I have First Man winning this one. I think Justin Horowitz will probably take it. Beale Street is in second place for me, then Widows. Hans Zimmer is a beloved usual nominee when it comes to the Globes. Mary Poppins Returns, I think, will probably get in, but again, it's got multiple composers, which usually gets them a Globe nomination, so I think it's more confident here than at the Oscars, but we'll see. And then Crazy Rich Asians I have getting in too. I think Crazy Rich Asians will actually play a lot better here than it will at the Oscars. Right now, I don't have it getting any Oscar love right now, actually, but across the categories. But I can see Brian Tyler is the composer. I can see him making it in. It's a really old time kind of 40s swing score, so sometimes they'll go for that. Okay, animated feature, we mentioned, Smallfoot will get it. Yeah, no way it wins, though. I mean, this is going to be Incredibles 2, probably hands down. And I mentioned this in my article for Cultured Vultures. Again, if you haven't checked those out, go ahead and feel free to peruse around, because pretty much everything I've said on camera here over the YouTube channel, I have written up an article form over there. I mentioned that Wes Anderson, of course, took down Birdman and Inarritu for Best Motion Picture Comedy Musical that year, 2014. So the Globes do like Wes Anderson, and I believe he was nominated. Oh God, I don't have it pulled up, but I believe he was, that wasn't his first ride at the Globes for at least nomination wise. But I don't see Isle of Dogs taking down Incredibles 2. Not quite. I mean, nah, no, not gonna happen. Let's see, then Ralph Breaks the Internet, I think, also gets in, and then Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is also in there. Okay, screenplay. No real updates here. I think it's still The Favorite, Beale Street, Green Book, Vice, Black Klansman are my five there. Yeah, I think that's about it. Let's see. Then going over to the acting races, supporting actress. I've still got Regina King out front for Beale Street. Claire Foy is in there for First Man. Amy Adams is in there for Vice. So you got Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz both in for The Favorite. So I did kick Margot Robbie out, but let's see, I was gonna check one other thing here. Oh, here I've already got it pulled up. Because one more quick thing before we get into those, though. Some other possible, I didn't, I'm forgetting this. Other possible nominees here for some of these categories, like animated feature. We've got, The Grinch is very popular right now. It'll probably not be #1 at the box office again this weekend with Fantastic Beasts coming out, but The Grinch is one. Illumination is usually a nominee here, but again, it's kind of, I don't know. It could happen. Miri is one that is probably going to make it, or Mirie, I'm not sure. I haven't heard it pronounced yet. Probably going to make it everywhere else but the Globes. That tends to happen. Early Man as Aardman Animation. Sometimes that gets in. We'll see, but anyways. Let's see, were there any other screenplays that had the potential to sneak in? I'm kind of... Can You Ever Forgive Me is one. I have it in for adapted screenplay. I think it's actually in the top 3 for screenplay, for adapted screenplay. I think Black Klansman and Beale Street will fight that one out for who's going to win. And I'm still going on my, by the way, before we get to director, I'm still going on my crazy Spike Lee theory on that. But I think if he doesn't win for director, Black Klansman, winning screenplay for that would be a great consolation prize for him to finally win a competitive Oscar. But Can You Ever Forgive Me is one I can see it making in, across like I'm sure as long as it's eligible at WGA, I think it'll get nominated there. I could see it get. I think it'll get nominated Critics' Choice. I think it'll get nominated pretty much across the board. Globes, I don't have it in right now though. So, but that's the thing is, which one of these 5 do you bump though? I mean. Green Book, Vice, and Roma, I think, are going to fight it out for original screenplay. The Favorite is in there too. So it'll be Favorite, Green Book, and Vice are going to fight that one out. So that probably The Favorite wins that one right now is what I'm thinking. And Black Klansman wins adapted at the Oscars. But here I have The Favorite winning. Anyways, but we'll see here because. Yeah, that's the thing, is which one of these 5 do you bump? I mean, Favorite, I think, is pretty locked in. That has a good shot of being the most nominated film the morning of the Globes. It can get 2 of the supporting actress categories, lead actress comedy, director and picture, and screenplay. That'd be 5. I think last year, La La Land obviously had 7 nominations a couple years ago. Last year we had, I think Shape of Water had 6, I believe. So it's in that range there. Just looking through, I think I've got Beale Street in 2, 3, 4 races. 5. I've got it in 5 too with score. Green Book is one I've got in 4 categories. Vice I have in 5 categories. Screenplay, 3 acting, and picture. I believe mathematically that adds up to 5, unless I checked. Black Klansman I have getting 4 nominations right now, so it's like, it tends to be, if something weird gets in for screenplay, it usually bumps one of those that otherwise gets really solid numbers there. But it's like, unless, the only one that we don't know about yet is Vice, of course, because Black Klansman, big critical hit, pretty good financial hit. I just bought my copy for the DVD. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. Green Book opens this weekend, I'm sure, in limited. I think it'll be a big hit with the audience, as a big hit with at the box office for especially in its limited run. I think when it expands, it'll probably do. I could see it going to 60 million or more here in the States. I could see if it really takes off, it can really hit those high notes. But I'm seeing, the critical respect for it at Rotten Tomatoes and stuff started out at 100%. Now it's down to like 85, 86. So it did drop. I mean, not, for a big respected movie, that's a pretty, steep drop. But, as long as it's above 85, I think that's 85 or above. I mean, it should be okay. Beale Street opens very soon. I believe if it's not this next weekend, it's the weekend after. That'll probably, again, it'll start limited and then grow, but that one I can see being now that Barry Jenkins is more than just the guy who did Moonlight. Now he's kind of a more known commodity. I can see it outgrossing Moonlight easily. And the favorite I can see really kind of like Birdman did, that earned like 40, 50 million. So I can see it kind of doing similar numbers to Green Book. That's just box office wise. Otherwise, Beale Street is a critical hit. Favorite's a critical hit, big time critical hit. Green Book, has a couple critics, but mostly is well received. BlackLand's really good. Vice, not screened yet. Sight unseen right now. Word through the grapevine, though, we're going to have first screenings for it coming up this weekend, Saturday, if I heard correctly. Whoever said it, I think said Saturday. That would be the 17th. So I, watch Twitter, or whatever from some of the people that get the advance notices there. If any one of these 5 is going to fall out, it's probably Vice, unless something happens and the Globes just don't go for BlacKkKlansman. That's why I have Vice and BlacKkKlansman at the bottom. It's like, Vice I can see really getting in if it gets really good word of mouth and stuff, especially off the first screenings and when the reviews come in too. And then BlacKkKlansman, it's one I think they'll go for it because they do. Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing got 4 Globe nominations that year and only 2 Oscar nominations. So the Globes do tend to like Spike Lee a little more. So just in historical respect there. So those 5 are in, but it's like, yeah, Can You Ever Forgive Me, I think, is just on the outside looking in. I think Star is Born, if it gets those 2 song nominations, it's probably got lead actor, lead actress, could go support. I don't have Sam Elliott in right now, but he could get in. I'm not saying I'm in denial of him getting in or anything, but I'm just thinking he's going to get overlooked again for this one. I'm still on that train of thought, but I could easily be wrong about that. So I've got those 4. I do have Cooper in for director. So actually, yeah, that would be the most nominated if it gets those. So actually, yeah, if you do the math again, so it gets 2 songs. If it does get supporting actor with Sam Elliott, that's 3. The 2 leads, director, picture would be 7. That matches La La Land there. So realistically, Star is Born could get 7 nominations, but does it get in? If it gets in for screenplay, that would be 8. Which, boy, I can't. Did Anne of the Thousand Days? I think something like that got 8 nominations. Or that's actually, hold on. I can just Google this, see if it comes up. But I know. Well, obviously, La La Land took the record 2 years ago for most wins of the Globe when it swept every category it was nominated in. And remember too, though, I did make that point earlier in Original Song, that La La Land, traditionally we were always thinking in that song category, especially the Oscars, it'll get at least 2 nominations. We were thinking they submitted 3, I believe, but everybody was like, yeah, it'll get 2. I don't think anybody was going that it would get all 3. Let's see. I'm going to Google most Golden Globe nominations. So I don't know if 8 would be a record or if, or what, for just number of nominations. But yeah, remember that year, the Globes only nominated 1 song, and that really allowed for that true sweep, because if it had because it had City of Stars, obviously, and then, of course, it brings up like Meryl Streep and Barbra Streisand. Film with most Golden Globe nominations, there we go. Anyways, but, yeah, that's the thing is the Globes really put a stop to that. They only got that one. Let's see here. Yeah, La La Land had the most wins with 7. Yes, I know that. I am not seeing the record for just nomination number. So I'll dig in. I'll try to find. I might have to just go through every year and stockpile the numbers until I find a number that's higher than 7 if it exists. But yeah, that's the thing with me, and I think most critics of the film, whether you like it or not, which mostly everybody does, back to A Star Is Born, is the screenplay for the film is not exactly a groundbreaking script. I mean, not in any way. So even though, yeah, it's got Cooper, Eric Roth, and I forget. I think there's another writer. I thought it was 3 writers on that, but those 2 for sure. They're respected, definitely, and Cooper is definitely known first and foremost as an actor, and not necessarily as a writer or even a director. He has produced a couple things, but I just don't see him getting 3 nominations for this year at the Globes. I just don't see it. Well, but then again, I do see technically Lady Gaga is a writer on the 2 songs, and if she gets in for actress, which she will, yeah, that would be 3 nominations for her, though. I don't know. See, I'm contradicting myself in that way. Roma, this is probably going to be the one spot where Roma slips up because there is a technicality, I believe, and nobody has told me otherwise. There's a rule here at the Globes that if you qualify as a foreign language film, you cannot be nominated in that and also in drama or comedy, those 2 categories. So that's the one spot where Roma is definitely not gonna win the top prize of the night. So, so I can see it also missing out for screenplay because of that. Yeah, First Man and Widows are a couple more that people like, but it's definitely not. I don't think this is definitely one spot where I knew First Man was not going to make it in. Okay, so let's go back over here. So we were talking about supporting actress here. Yeah, and I think, competition-wise, originally I was saying this category is pretty easy, but now I'm starting to think competition is really heating up here now. Because, yeah, I mentioned those 5. Again, they're Regina King, Claire Foy, Amy Adams, Emma Stone, Rachel Weisz. Then you think about, well, Michelle Yeoh, because I think Crazy Rich Asian is going to do better here at the Globes than it will anywhere else. I have it getting in, like I said, for score. I have it in for picture comedy and actress comedy with Constance Wu there. So it could. I don't see John M. Chu making it in for director. I mean, that's a definite long shot, even at the Globes. But it could get that 4th nomination with Michelle Yeoh. And it's got the potential to get in for screenplay, but I would think we would if we had a better sense of it getting into the Oscars for that adapted screenplay race. I think if we had more support there right now, I'm not sensing that. If there was, I think then it would get a bigger boost at the Globes here. But right now, I'm not thinking so. Who else? Nicole Kidman is here for Boy Erased. Margot Robbie is still in the hunt for Mary Queen of Scots, which is going to show. Oh, I was gonna do this too. I was gonna pull up the schedule for AFI Fest. I was gonna wait until AFI Fest was over, but there were a couple things that happened here, and this might be the last video I do for a little bit. We might have a family emergency coming up. I don't want to bore you guys with that. But anyways, I was gonna pull up AFI Fest because they've done. We'll mention that too. What's premiered there so far, but. But I know that Mary Queen of Scots is the closing film, and I believe the festival wraps up this week. I don't know if that's Friday or Saturday, but because today's Thursday. So, let's see here. Schedule. Oh yeah, that's right. We brought this up last time. It didn't go well. Anyways, but in the meantime here, yeah, we'll see. Margot Robbie is somebody I had her early on, kind of getting in everywhere, but now I've pulled her out of pretty much every race, just because it hasn't screened yet, and we just don't know yet just how big a commodity it's going to be. Let's see. It is. It's actually today. Oh, there we go. That's way to be on top of things. Actually, and it's on the West Coast there, so it's actually starts in 7 minutes. Son of a bitch. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we'll actually see right after I probably post this video. We'll see if Mary Queen of Scots is a winner or a loser when it comes to all that stuff. Because Saoirse Ronan's another one where kind of possibility of breaking into Best Actress. Again, I had her winning for what was it 2 months, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm not thinking so anymore. But we'll see. I don't know if it's. I mean, Best Picture. It's like we're really got it down to about 11 or 12 films now that we're really huge. Very much considering have the possibility to make it into Best Picture. Again, we'll have up to 10 nominees, but mathematically that's almost impossible. It'll be 9. Um, so I don't know what else I can get into. The two acting, obviously, well, other than tech stuff, like I have it in for costumes and production design and makeup right now. Um, so but yeah, otherwise in the big categories, I'm not sure. I believe in adapt. I forget if it's adapted or original. It's probably adapted. Which that race again, we're pretty set in that. Anyways, so. Yeah, who else do we like here? I mentioned Natalie Portman. I have her in at SAG right now for supporting actress for Vox Lux. Yeah, this would be again if it gets in for song here, maybe if it's on their radar. If it doesn't get in for song, we'll probably know the morning of the Globes because they always do those smaller categories. Not to say that they're less important, but just the tech categories, the few that they have, they usually do those first. They're one of the first ones announced. If it doesn't get in there, then she's almost definitely not getting in. But yeah, I don't have her in now, and she's got a shot. I mean, everything I hear about it, she is very much a chew the scenery kind of big over the top performance. But and I think the Globes voters sometimes they really go for that. So that's one I would not discount at all. Okay, supporting actor, the big change, and I think I'd mentioned it before. I just did this, but Stephen James is going lead for If Beale Street Could Talk, which I think Annapurna, I don't know why. I mean, unless they really want to, because looking at the other stuff here, you do have a co-star from Beale Street, Brian Tyree Henry, which people who've seen the film, I haven't seen it yet, everybody says that he has a couple of really big scenes where he absolutely shows what he has, and not say that I heard this, but it almost made me reminisce of Mahershala Ali when I heard about his stuff in Moonlight, and of course, being the same director and everything, it's kind of not. Again, it's not in the same, not quite the same because it's like Mahershala we knew had a big shot to get nominated at least at the Oscars. But right now, Brian Tyree, he's way down there in the odds. I think from most things that I've seen here. Anyways, but unless they push their chips in for him or Sam Rockwell for Vice, which is also Annapurna, I don't understand why you'd move Stephen James out. He's got Homecoming, which is doing pretty well so far, from what I understand, on Amazon for the TV side. He could get in at the Globes for that for the TV categories, but yeah, it's like it seemed like that would be the kind of role that they could go for, but no, not quite. Anyway, so because of that, I put in Adam Driver now. So, but the odds for me, I think for who's going to win, I have Mahershala Ali out front actually. And I believe I mentioned this last time, but remember Mahershala lost the year of Moonlight here at the Globes to Aaron Taylor Johnson for Nocturnal Animals. So he's got a big IOU, and I think especially if Green Book is that and The Favorite, I think are really and Vice potentially too are really going to fight it out for that Globe for motion picture comedy musical. And Mahershala, I think, if Green Book ends up not winning and The Favorite takes film or Vice takes film or something, and they still want to award it, definitely Mahershala is the way to go. Or they could pair it up to where Mahershala wins and also Vigo wins for lead actor comedy. But we'll see. But I think he's probably. I mean, I don't have him winning the Oscar right now. I know it's the pot calling the kettle black here, but it's like he just won 2 years ago. I know, because I know you're all giving me that look because it's I've got Sam Rockwell who just fucking won last year, so no, I'm just on a crazy chase with that one. But anyways, yeah. So that being said, I don't have him winning here. I actually have him in third behind Timothée Chalamet, who's also got, even though he did not win the Oscar last year, he does have, most people say, an IOU because he didn't get a lot of wins really at all last year on the industry side and at the big televised awards for Call Me By Your Name. And Beautiful Boy, it's playing now. I haven't quite seen it yet, but he's really again the last man standing from that film, the film that could potentially get nominated. Yeah, so I mentioned I've got Sam Rockwell in third. We'll see again if it's true. It's playing this Saturday for I think it's L.A. and New York critics right now. Um, we'll see. We'll see if I think he's the kind of actor and it's the type of role that I think can really bowl some of the critics and audiences over. And all of a sudden it's like weren't even thinking about him, but now it's like, oh wow, that could really and then from there they take off. So that's why I'm still keeping him in mind. Richard E. Grant is in fourth place for Can You Ever Forgive Me? And I think, from what I've heard, again, I haven't seen the film yet. It's not quite playing in my area yet, but I am dying to see this one, though. From what I hear, his performance is actually, some people have said, is better than Melissa McCarthy's. And she was kind of the, especially from the first trailer and stuff, she was the real takeaway from one of the, and a few reviews, too. But everyone else I've heard, it's like Richard E. Grant kind of steals the show from under her. So, and he was nominated, as we mentioned a few videos ago, at Gotham. So, and Melissa McCarthy wasn't. So keep that in mind too. And I think and it's kind of a crazy theory of mine, but if just looking at it just stats wise and stuff here, Timothée, from going back to the Oscars for just a minute here. If there's the whole thing in the Academy where it's like, well, we just gave Sam Rockwell the Oscar last year, so we're gonna bump him. We're not gonna give it to him this time. Timothée's in Beautiful Boy, but we don't really like the film too much. And while he's an exceptional actor, we're not comfortable giving him the win here. Mahershala just won 2 years ago. Yeah, well, yeah, we're not gonna give it to him. Who does that leave him with? I think Richard E. Grant, who he's a known character actor. He's been around the block for a while. I think if all three of them magically, Mahershala, Timothée, and Sam, all fall by the wayside, I can see a path to victory for Richard E. Grant, believe it or not. And he also kind of reminds me of a little bit of the Bridge of Spies with, God, I always forget his name, the guy who won. Jiminy Christmas, now I can't remember it. The dude, Mark Rylance. There we go. Kind of Mark Rylance that year for Bridge of Spies, where all of a sudden, he was a scene stealer in the film, and it was like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to get him nominated? And then he started showing up on all the lists, and he was consistently on the critics lists and stuff, and he got in at the Globes, got in at BAFTA, got in at SAG, got in, at the Oscars eventually, and snuck up from behind and won. So I think Richard E. Grant also, he kind of has, from what I hear, a similar role where he steals a lot of scenes. He's consistently now, from what we even though it's been only one award show that's announced nominations so far, I can see Richard E. Grant maybe stealing some of the thunder from Mahershala and Timothée at some of the critics groups potentially. Really, unless they go out on a wild, wild hunch theory or something. And go, I don't know, I couldn't even tell you who they go for. I don't know, Hugh Grant or somebody like that. The last person we'd expect, or Jonathan Pryce maybe for the wife or something like that. Unless they go for somebody like that, I can see a path to victory for Richard E. Grant. I really can right now. I mentioned Adam Driver's in fifth place for me because, again, I'm going on that Spike Lee thing, and if Black Klansman really does well, I can see, and Adam Driver's another one that made it into Gotham too, so keep that in mind. And he's another one that, he's been around the block a lot. He's done the big films with, obviously, the Star Wars and stuff, and then he did the smaller films like this one and Logan Lucky last year. So he's, and Girls and everything else that he's done on TV, which I think, that's his big, kind of his big breakout role and everything. But he's one that people are dying for him to get an Oscar nomination already. So, I can see that potentially happening, but he has to, he has to knock a few other people out right now, and and like I said, I don't have Sam Elliott in here, but I think Sam Elliott has the jump on him for the Oscars right now, and I do have, like I mentioned, Daniel Kaluuya is in for my Oscar pick still. It's weird though. The thing with him is, I originally pulled him out for SAG because I'm like, I don't know if Widows will do as well there, even though I have it in for Outstanding ensemble. I just had Viola getting the only single nomination. Um, that being said, though, I'm like, he was very, very popular last year with Get Out and everything, and it's like, I think his popularity and being, in the film Get Out and stuff really is what helped him get the nomination last year. Not to knock on the performance or anything, but I thought it was a fine performance. It wasn't anything groundbreaking or anything like that. But he was very, very popular, especially when they announced the nominees every time at like Critics' Choice and at Globes. Did he get in at Critics' Choice? I thought he did. But yeah, especially at Globes and SAG when he got nominated there, he got the biggest pop of the press and stuff there when he got nominated each time. So it's like, hey, he's pretty popular in town and everything. So that's why I have him getting in for Widows there, and especially when it's actors voting on actors, that's when I can see him really striking hot there. But I don't see him getting in again at the Globes this year. But yeah, and that's another thing too. I was going to mention is I've heard very polarizing things about his performance too. Where I just listened to another podcast the other day, Collider Live, which I actually got a phone call in a few weeks ago. Not that that's important, but and they talked about the movie and they were very underwhelmed by it. And they said particularly that Daniel Kaluuya was very I think miscast. I think was what they were going for. They really did not enjoy him in the movie, but then I've read a lot of, not a lot, but I've read a number of reviews that mention him specifically and say that this is his best performance to date. So I don't know. Maybe if it is that polarizing, then kind of like Aaron Taylor Johnson a few years ago, where there was a love it or hate it performance, and the Globes really, really loved it. Maybe he just doesn't get in at the end of the day. But anyway, so there's still a little mystery here in supporting actor too. But yeah. Anyway, so now that we've kind of all second-guessed ourselves multiple times over that, let's go into the lead races here. So for lead actress, comedy musical, I still have Olivia Colman out front for The Favorite, then Emily Blunt, then Constance Wu. I pulled out Elsie Fisher for 8th Grade, and I put in kind of a little bit of a long shot here, Catherine Hahn for Private Life. She got nominated at the Gothams there. And you look at it, really, this category for lead actress comedy musical, especially with Lady Gaga out, it kind of leaves the competition really bare here, because it's like, you look at the list here of potential nominees, and it's, these 5, and then you've got Elsie Fisher, and from there you've got like Sandra Bullock in Ocean's 8, which is probably not going to happen. Lily James in the Mamma Mia sequel, probably not going to happen. She didn't get in for Baby Driver or anything like that. That's it. I mean, that's really it. I didn't mention yet Charlize Theron for Tully. I have getting in too. Yeah, so it's like this category is pretty bare when it comes to competition. And Catherine Hahn, Private Life is a Netflix film, and I think Netflix could definitely win the day on that. The Globes do tend to like the Netflix stuff, so that's why I see her getting in. So that's one. It's a long shot right now, but if it comes true, I'm gonna leap in victory over it and all that. Anyways, the lead actor comedy musical race. Again, I think for I think as far as who's going to win that category, though, going back to the lead ladies for comedy musical, I think it's Olivia Colman's to lose. I mean, I really don't see Crazy Rich Asians. I think is one they'll like. I don't necessarily see it as a film. It would have to get. Like I said, I have it in for 3 right now. If it gets that 4th nomination with Michelle Yeoh, even with those 4 nominations, if it gets it, I don't see it being a film that they absolutely have to give something to. I don't quite see it. And if they're going to give it anything, like it's definitely not taking down the other films in comedy musical for best film. Michelle Yeoh is not going to win supporting actress. I don't think so. And I don't see it winning score right now. It's kind of bottom of the 5th position for me right now. And Constance Wu is really the only option left there, and she's not taken down Olivia. And Emily Blunt, by the way, already has a Globe. Then again, so does Olivia. They both have 1 Globe win in the past. And Catherine Hahn, Charlize Theron, they're going to be happy to be there, I think. But it comes down to those 2, and I think if Mary Poppins really, really goes over well with the Globes, and it gets, it has right now score, song, I think right now. She gets in. Emily Blunt gets in. Lin-Manuel gets in. Excuse me. And the film gets in. So that'd be 5 nominations. So I think that's I think a good haul for them, definitely. Um, kind of like Into the Woods, I think had more nominations at the Globes than it did at the Oscars, with technically fewer categories. So yeah, I can see the same definitely being true for Mary Poppins, and funny enough, same director, Rob Marshall. So yeah. So that's the thing there. But it comes down to those two, I think. But I think especially with Olivia being in The Favorite, she's got the potential to win Best Actress at the Oscars too. So I think that's why they'll go there. But we do have a big race though here in the comedy actor race, and that's Christian Bale versus Viggo Mortensen. And this right now for me, it's kind of a coin flip. I've actually seen a few like the Gold Derby odds I have pulled up right now, and Robert Redford is still in the lead for Old Man and the Gun. No, not gonna happen. I'm sorry. That movie was just so fluff. I mean, no way that he wins for that. I mean, he's like I said, he's charismatic and charming as hell in the movie, but that is in no way an award-worthy performance. Come on, let's not kid ourselves here. Anyway, so Christian Bale, yeah, I do have winning because I also have him winning the Oscars right now, and Vigo's in a close second. But man, I mean, really though, it's a thing of Christian Bale's got the transformative role. He's got he added all the weight, shaved the eyebrows, all that stuff for Vice for playing Dick Cheney, and then Viggo is playing from what I hear very against type as a very middle aged I was going to say boxer, but he's not a boxer. He's a shit. Well, he's he drives the car, but he's a bouncer. Bouncer. That's what because I've seen the trailer like 5 times, but I can't remember what he does. He's a bouncer before he drives the car. That's and he's got evidently from what I hear, he's got some of the biggest laughs of the movie. And I know technically, yeah, it's in this comedy race, even though I've heard it's more of a drama than anything else. But and I've explained many times, Universal has First Man. They really want to keep that. They can't call that a musical, and they don't want to have infighting with that. So and also Universal, I believe, is also technically has or no, A24 has 8th Grade, I believe, or who? I thought 8th Grade was A24, but is that I forget? A24 I don't think is part of Universal. I don't think, but anyways. Yeah, so that's the thing with me is Viggo is playing technically then against type because he's usually the tough guy, unless it's like Captain Fantastic or something where he's still kind of a tougher dude, but like here he's a tough guy, but he also can really make you laugh from what I hear in the film. So he's kind of playing against type, not as much as like Christian Bale, who's a very chameleon actor. So it's like, and both of these films again potentially have that win for comedy musical film also in the balance there. So it's like I don't know who's gonna win, but one of those two I think, and then we'll see. Yeah, because I think I both of them I think are gonna face off against Bradley Cooper for that Oscar win. But whoever wins the Globe I think will get the upper hand, and then it becomes a 2-way race from there. And then SAG will be a big determiner in who wins that race, and then we'll see where BAFTA goes. BAFTA probably goes with Christian Bale because he's an Aussie, but it's like you kind of want to support your foreign actors over there at BAFTA. So yeah, they tend, not always, but they tend to give the non-American actor the win over there at BAFTA. They've done it. Is it the last 3 years? No, that can't be the last 3 years because they gave Leo Best Actor for The Revenant. And who'd they give? Oh, they did. Yeah, they did give Casey Affleck the win too. That's right. So yeah, okay. So it hasn't been them very recently, but yeah, historically they tend to go non-American over there for Best Actor. Anyway, so yeah, we'll have to see here. And like I said, I do have Lin-Manuel getting in for Mary Poppins, and I'm still hanging on to that John C. Reilly prediction for Sisters Brothers. He's a very popular actor with critics and with actors and everybody else. Yeah, I'm just not really seeing, other than these 5, a ton of competition here. A couple people have mentioned in the comment section Nick Robinson for Love, Simon. It's one. It came up. It was in March, I believe. Kind of came and went, and didn't really. I've heard a lot. A lot of great reviews for the film, and a lot of people really liked it. But it's just one. It kind of came and went. We did see. He's really younger guy too. Ansel Elgort made it in last year for Baby Driver, so keep that in mind too. Um, and then you've got a couple other ones that people are talking about still are like Ewan McGregor and Christopher Robin, which I don't see happening. Steve Carell's a favorite of the Globes, but I think he'll get the bigger push unless Welcome to Marwen is a surprise out of nowhere last minute push that's really 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 good. That's another, I believe, Universal one if I'm not mistaken. Unless he gets a really giant push for that at the last minute, then then he gets in, I guess, for that instead of Beautiful Boy. But I think Beautiful Boy is where he's really, I think, probably going to gun most of his support there. Let's see, did I mention Ryan Reynolds yet for Deadpool 2? He got in for the first Deadpool, but this second one I don't think is going to make it. Anyways, so I'm sticking with those 5 for now. Okay, then we go over to the drama races, starting with the leading ladies here. I still do have Glenn Close out front here. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. I've put her in now. I believe. Yeah, I see. That's the thing. I update the website with my articles here, and then then I go back and it's like, did I have Glenn Close in last time we mentioned this on the videos, or did I have her in last time we mentioned this on the articles? I can't remember. But yeah, in the most recent article, I did not have Glenn Close in yet. But I thought I mentioned it at one point. Anyway, so yeah, I do have her winning the Globe here. I didn't we check it last time? I do not think she has a Globe win in her history, unless it was for a TV prize. Oh, well, there was. Okay, there's, now I think about it, there was that TV show she was on for a long time. She probably won for that. Yes, that's Damages. That's what it's called. She did win a Globe for that, and she also won for the miniseries Lion in Winter. So she does have 2 Globe wins on her mantle there. But then she's been nominated for Maxie for the films. Maxie, Fatal Attraction, 101 Dalmatians, sorry, Albert Nobbs. So that's 4 nominations there for film. No wins, obviously, there, but she was also not Sarah Plain and Tall. I remember watching that in school back in the 90s. It came out in the 90s. I saw it in the 2000s, but yeah, I'm not that old. But anyways, yeah, so she's never won a competitive, or she's won a couple of competitive Globes, but never a Globe for a film on the film side. So that's one to keep in mind. Lady Gaga's in the same boat though. She won for TV a few years ago for the American Horror Story. And again, kind of the same thing with that I've mentioned at the Oscars, where if she wins for a song, that's kind of an opt-out for, if you don't feel like you want to give her the win for Best Actress, if you really want to vote for Glenn Close, you really want to vote for Melissa McCarthy, or if you want to vote for Olivia Colman or a couple of the other ones, then you'll go there, but instead of Lady Gaga. But Lady Gaga's got a lot of fans, and I kind of had an epiphany with her. Speaking of Collider, I was watching, what's his name? Oh, God, I am so terrible at memory today. Sam Levine was on, and he was talking about stuff, and he mentioned something. I'll give him full credit for this. He mentioned something that really turned my head on this whole thing, because I've been pessimistic about Gaga, but again, I'll mention it just to piss everybody off again. I was not a gigantic fan of her performance, to say the least. I thought that she said her lines right. She hit her marks. I know. I'm sorry. And she did better than that, obviously. Yes. When she's doing the songs and stuff on screen, it's like, yes, she gets into it and she really shows what she has there. When she has the confrontation scenes and the back and forths between her and Bradley Cooper, she does good, and there's definitely promise there as an actress. I put her in the same camp as like Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman, where it's like, it's not the best performance you've ever seen in your life, but there's something there. It just you just need to work it out a little more, and the more we see you as an actress, I think it's true. I think for both of them, because Gal, I think, has progressively gotten better and better as an actress over because the first what was it, Batman v Superman and all that, she was pretty wooden until she actually got into the costume. And then when she was fighting with the guys, I was like, whoa, that's something different. And then in Wonder Woman, she showed, yeah, she's got some talent in her. And then even with Justice League, her character and her performance, actually, one of the saving graces of the film. So she got better as it went on. And I think Lady Gaga, I think, will have that same thing if she continues to act. But I see her in that spot where there's talent there. Very obviously, we can tell that. But it's just, maybe this wasn't the greatest opportunity to showcase all that dramatic talent if she has it and stuff. Now, obviously, like I said, with the songs and stuff, we knew that years and years ago. But yeah. Anyways, but yeah, back to this thing. Sam Levine mentioned Jennifer Hudson in Dreamgirls. And he mentioned, and he comes from the perspective, of course, of an actor. He was, actor, from like Freaks and Geeks and younger. But he mentioned he was very mad. He said that year that Jennifer Hudson won for basically basically singing and doing minimal actual dramatic acting in Dreamgirls, and she won the Oscar. And I'm like, that's exactly what Lady Gaga does in Star Is Born. When she does the dramatic stuff, she's passable. She does a good job. She, like I said, hits her marks and stuff. But it's nothing spectacular. When she's singing, yes, then she's very dynamic, very good performance. Now, Dreamgirls is one that I've missed, so I can't personally say if I agree with Sam. I haven't seen the film, so I can't tell you. But that same perspective, I think, absolutely rings true with Lady Gaga. So, yes, before I was very, very, I was pessimistic about her chances to totally sweep everything and win every last prize. But there is precedent for it with Jennifer Hudson. So, a little reluctantly, I now see that, yes, she does have a path to an Oscar win. But it has to be here, it has to start at the Globes. I think it absolutely does. Because unless we see something very rare, the critics' prizes and all that, National Board Review, all that, well, I don't know. National Board Review is really out to lunch every other year, so I don't know. Sometimes they get it right, and sometimes they're way off. But I don't see LA film critics going for Lady Gaga for Best Actress. I don't see New York film critics going for Lady Gaga. Critics' Choice, I don't see going for Lady Gaga. That's where they probably prefer Olivia Colman or Glenn Close. Like we mentioned, Olivia pretty much has the Globe for actress comedy musical, unless Emily Blunt sneaks up and wins. But this one though for the Globe, she's got a chance to take down Glenn. Even though yes, Gaga already has a Globe, and yes, technically Glenn has 2 Globes. This, like I said, the whole campaign of, Glenn has never won an Oscar. Glenn is, if long as she and the publicists and the studio and everybody keep whispering that into everybody's ear, I think she's got a very easy path to an Oscar win. So yeah, I do have Gaga in second for the Globe. And if she wins the Globe and can take down Glenn Close there, then she can take down both her and Olivia potentially at SAG. Then If Gaga wins SAG and especially put it in this way, if Coleman loses the Globe and loses SAG and Lady Gaga wins both the Globe for drama and SAG, the race is over and it's Lady Gaga's to lose. If Glenn Close wins the Globe for the drama and Olivia Colman wins Globe for comedy musical and they both meet up at SAG and lose to Gaga, then I don't know. Then it becomes a very, 3-sided coin. Somehow you decide it. But if, Glenn wins the Globe and SAG, then I think she's got it. And same with Coleman. I think if Olivia Colman wins the Globe for comedy musical and wins SAG, then I think she's probably got it. But if Gaga sweeps both of these, I think she might be unstoppable at that point. Anyways, then there is one other possibility here. Well, 2 other possibilities here. Melissa McCarthy and Viola Davis, who I have in 3rd and 4th. And by the way, 5th place, I took out Saoirse Ronan here again and put in Yalitza Aparicio for Roma. I think with Huppert, Isabelle Huppert getting in here a few years ago for Elle. I remember I missed that one. So they do like, even though Emmanuel Riva did not get in for Amour, they do tend to like a few of the foreign language performances here. And yeah, and Roma, like I said, it might not do as well here at the Globes as it will everywhere else. But well, with the exception of SAG, it probably won't do well at SAG. Um, I can see them going for Yalitza here. Anyway, so yeah, she's in fifth. I think again she'll be happy to be there, and yeah, she does have she'll have to beat out Saoirse, she'll have to beat out Nicole Kidman for Destroyer, Felicity Jones for On the Basis of Sex. We'll get to that in a minute here when kind of talk about that at AFI. But anyways, but Melissa McCarthy kind of has a path there too. I think we got into it a little bit last time, or one of the other videos, where it's like it's that big performance where you're kind of changing your perception, where you're going from the comedy girl to the drama actress, kind of thing. So if they're really impressed, if she can split the difference, she or Viola Davis, because Viola is very popular. If Widows, I can see, other than Star is Born, will probably make the most money out of all these films. The Wife is only at 7 million. Kenny or Forgive Me is only at 4, but I think that'll grow. Roma, we won't know if Netflix will even report the numbers. And Star is Born, obviously, that's 180 million and counting. So it'll probably creep up close to 200 million by the time it's all said and done here in the States. But Widows will be second to that one for sure. Unless it totally bombs this weekend, but we'll see. Viola will have the most popular film out of these, other than Gaga, and she's a very popular actress. She usually, what is she, a 4-time nominee, I believe? Definitely, three for sure. The Help, Doubt, and Fences for sure, but I thought she had a 4th nomination in there somewhere. Somebody fact check me on that. It's either going to be her 4th or 5th if she gets in this year. She, again, very popular. I can see her also kind of, winning the Globe, especially, if Widows becomes a very popular film, and it's one where it's like, well, we'd like to see Viola win. And what I hear, she has a lot of great scenes. Like, she shows empathy. She shows a lot of the emotional scenes. She shows a lot of strength. She shows some, definitely some meanness and grit and toughness to her. And also her ability to lead all the other women in the heist. It sounds like she has everything she needs. And she's got a couple of, from what I hear, really great Oscar clips that they can play. So sometimes that's enough to even get you a win. So yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of rooting for her to get in too. She looks like she does a great job in the film. Melissa McCarthy, though, going back to her though, again, her or Viola, if both of them can split that vote between Glenn Close and Lady Gaga here at the Globes, and if they come up with a surprise victory here, then again it becomes a very, very different dynamic for the rest of the race. And then it's like, okay, well, if we had, say, we'll just throw Melissa McCarthy in there. If she wins Globe, and then Olivia wins Globe, and then Olivia wins SAG, then yeah, it's Olivia's to lose at the Oscars. But if it's like Melissa wins the Globe, and then either Glenn or Lady Gaga wins at SAG, then again we're really, really screwed then, because then it could be 4 potential winners there. So yeah, like I said, this is one of the toughest categories to determine this year as lead actress. But yeah. Anyway, so that's all the different directions I'm getting pulled in there. All right, going over to the lead actor drama race, Bradley Cooper's to lose, I think. This could be one of the biggest locks right now for this category, or for the night. I mean, other than Incredibles 2 for animated, I think this would be about it. And Lady Gaga for song. I just think, Cooper's been nominated twice by the Globes, lost both times, but he's not just a rising star, he's a big star in Hollywood. Never won a Globe, has never won a SAG award except for American Hustle with the cast there, and never really won anything else. So it's like this, I can definitely see him, definitely being one of the top 2 at the Oscars for lead actor. Let's see, then I've got Ryan Gosling in there for First Man, then Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, then Hugh Jackman I still have getting in for The Frontrunner. Then I have Willem Dafoe also getting in for At Eternity's Gate. Now the thing with Hugh Jackman though is Frontrunner already, in its very limited release, is already kind of landed with a thud at the box office, at least so far. Even those limited runs, it's like sometimes when you open that little, you still have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 per theater. For your average, but I think the Frontrunner fell short of that as well. Let me pull up, because I forget. I've seen the number before. I just can't remember how well it did. Where was it at? Yeah, well, it earned an average of 12,886 per theater. Yeah, that's you want to get 20,000 plus if you're especially if you want to be a big Oscar player. So that's not a good sign. Like I said, they love Hugh Jackman. The Globes love Hugh Jackman. So that's why I have him in. Yeah, you've still got a lot of potentials here, though. Lucas Hedges could get in for Boy Erased or Ben is Back. It's a possibility. We mentioned Steve Carell. John David Washington, he's kind of in that Daniel Kaluuya Get Out spot where it's like, he could be that nominee who comes in when, to all the races, and we're like, why were we not thinking about that? Or like me, I'm like, why is he getting nominated? But no, I think in his case, I understand his nomination more so than I did Daniel Kaluuya's in Get Out. But that's just me personally. Now, one I still have not Clint Eastwood, sorry, Ethan Hawke getting in for First Reformed at the Oscars and at SAG and everywhere else there for the most part, Critics' Choice too. But I don't see the Globes going for that movie, First Reformed. If they do, then we know he is definitely getting in, unless he craps out everywhere else and he just somehow ends up with Gotham, Globe, and nothing else. That'd be really weird, but it's yeah, that'd be strange. Willem Dafoe, he's got a history at the Globes too of getting consistently nominated, so I think he gets in for At Eternity's Gate. Okay, then we'll go over to the director race here. Let's see here. Like I said, I'm still going with the Spike Lee theory here for this. I'm still waiting for that Twitter campaign to start up, but yeah, now that the film's out on Blu-ray and DVD and everything, that could start, really. It could realistically happen. Yeah, I do have Barry Jenkins in second place. Kind of similar to Mahershala, he's kind of got that IOU factor with the fact he didn't win director at the Globes when Moonlight won for picture drama. Moonlight, of course, won Best Picture that year. He did not win for Best Director, so he's kind of got a little bit of an IOU factor, even though he did pick up for Screenplay that year at the Oscars. He did not win Screenplay for the Globes, though. I do have Alfonso Cuarón in third place here for Roma. And again, here's another thing, too. Cuarón is pretty much, for all the odds and stuff, he's pretty much running the board in this director category right now from the odds makers' point of view. This could be realistically the one place where he loses, though, if he does win the Oscar and everything else. I can see that. I can see a scenario where he wins the Oscar, he wins DGA, he wins at BAFTA, especially. He wins at really everywhere he can, Critics' Choice included. But he falls short of the Globes because, number one, because Roma is not going to be in that drama race. It's going to be in foreign language. So again, that's even though he specifically, I believe, the rules also state that the Globe does not go to the director or the producer. It goes technically to the country if you win. So, like, I think it was Poland a couple of years ago when they won whatever film it was. It was Ida, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. When they won, it was like, that was a big deal because they had never won before. It was Poland or another country like that, and when they won, it was a big deal, and the country accepted it, and they were very, very excited about it. And the director and the producing team and everybody was like, yeah, we made the film, but we don't technically get the award. If I remember correctly, that's what I heard. So keep that in mind. But that being said, if he wins here, when Roma is not going to be up technically for the best film for drama, I think it'll win foreign language, no doubt, and it could get a couple other nominations here and there. If he wins here, yeah, it's pretty much game over at that rate. Again, we'll have to see. Unless all of a sudden, a thing comes up for Spike Lee or Barry Jenkins where we want to see an African American director win this prize, for the first time at the Oscars and stuff. And I believe DGA has also never awarded a black filmmaker, male or female for that matter. Then that's something else to consider there. So I have those three. Again, all three of them. There's a scenario for them winning. Bradley Cooper, I have in fourth. I don't see the Globes being the one to bestow him director as well as acting win on the same night. To my recollection, that's never happened. I believe Kevin Costner did not win the night of the Globes with Dancing with Wolves. Pretty sure. Who beat him that year? Jeremy Irons. I'm pretty sure Irons. He had to have won the Globe that year, right? I mean, that would just be too silly. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. That's not what I wanted. Let's see. Where is it here? Reversal of Fortune. Yeah, he won. He won that night for actor drama. So yeah, and I don't recall like I don't think Warren Beatty was another one, kind of actor director who was nominated at the Oscars at least for both categories. I don't recall. I don't think Warren Beatty won for Reds. Well, he might have won for directing at the Globes, but I don't think he won actor drama. Okay, I'm not going to look it up. Anyways, but if it would be the first time, I don't quite see it happening with Bradley Cooper either. And then you got Yorgos in fifth place for me for the favorite. I think I had Chazelle in earlier, but I pulled him out. Because yeah, and First Man I think is it's going to struggle a little bit here at the Globes because it won't have screenplay. I still have it in for screenplay at the Oscars, but it's because of the adapted original thing. And it would have the two acting nominations. It'd have score and it would have picture. That would be about it. Which yes, 4 nominations still good, but it's yeah. Let's see here. Then who else? Peter Farrelly and Adam McKay, especially if they get in. If one of them gets in and the other one doesn't for this director race, that'll really help with that race determining the win for comedy musical film. And since I do have Yorgos getting in, I think that gives the edge to the favorite winning for comedy musical film. That being said, though, remember last year Lady Bird won without Greta Gerwig nominated for director. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's see. Anybody else who can get in here potentially? Let's see here. Unless they go crazy and Steve McQueen gets in too for Widow, if they really like Widows, but I don't quite see that happening. Okay, let's go over to the films now. We've got, if I can find the right one here, comedy musical film. I've got The Favorite out front, then Green Book, then Vice, then Crazy Rich Asians, and Mary Poppins Returns. I think that's the same 5 I had last time, and really, these 5 are, I think, where they're going to go. Some other ones that people are considering, Old Man the Gun. I think actor is the only one there. 8th Grade, I don't quite see it happening. Let's see. I think that's about it really for now. Yeah, so those 5. Again, we'll see. The Favorite, Green Book, and Vice are going to play it out there, but I think the Favorite right now. Okay, and then for the film drama category, let's see. I've still got Beale Street out front just because I've also got it at the Oscars, and I've got Star Is Born in 2nd, Black Klansman in 3rd, Widows in 4th, and First Man in 5th. So I don't have Black Panther getting any nominations here at the Globes. I think I can see that. I can see where you can have an association like SAG or like Globes that don't like Black Panther, don't nominate it or anything. And then it gets really a lot of nominations at the Oscars and at Critics' Choice and a few of the other ones there. Kind of like Mad Max kind of struggled at, a few years ago, Mad Max struggled at SAG. It only had the stunt ensemble nomination and win there. But then it's like, it really didn't have a shot anywhere else there. But even that did well at the Globes, though, so keep that in mind. Then again, that didn't get anything except director and picture, and it's like, that's a weird when that happens. I don't see Coogler breaking into that director race necessarily right now. Let's see here, and then Can You Ever Forgive Me is one I'm keeping in mind for that 5th slot here at for the drama race here. Like I said, I don't have it in for screenplay either, so that kind of hurts it too. I would say this. I would say if later on I might switch it around. If it gets in for screenplay, I might push out either First Man or Widows to make room for Can't Ever Forgive Me. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, so that's all that. Let's see. Yeah, quickly I wanted to mention a couple other things. First of all, I wanted to mention that I've seen one more film since last time we talked. I said I do plan on seeing. Actually, let me pull up the list. Like I said, there's kind of a family emergency going on right now. I might be done for a little bit here, video wise and stuff, until after Thanksgiving for sure. If that happens, then I won't be able to go see anything for at least a week probably. If not, then I'm this weekend planning to see Private War, Girl in the Spider's Web, Widows, and Beautiful Boy. So we'll kind of I'll catch up on those. But there's one, and I mentioned it, very early on, and I've not really mentioned it since. But I was dying to see Suspiria. Saw it, and it's a crazy mind fuck of a film, but I loved every second of it. Not every second of it, but I ended up very much at kind of similar actually to Moonlight. My feelings on that, where I admired it but not loved it. Even though I just said I loved every minute of it, I was kind of joking in that. But anyway, so yeah, that's the thing. It's definitely not going to be an Oscar player. Does it deserve it? I thought the score was terrific. Tilda Swinton is fantastic. I haven't seen every performance this year for what would qualify for supporting actress, so I can't tell you if she deserves or has earned her spot yet for supporting actress. But she's one I would, if she gets in, I'm not going to complain. But anyways, yeah, she does a terrific job. I actually think this might be, and I haven't seen I haven't seen Michael Clayton in a long time, and a couple of other films. This might be a career best from Tilda Swinton. From as far as I'm concerned, she really gets into it with her character. I'm not gonna add, there's kind of a spoiler alert there for some people, so I'm not gonna go any further. Let's see what else. And I've, Dakota Johnson has been an actress. I think she's grown on me over the years because I didn't bother with any of the 50 Shades films, so I kind of put her in the same camp as Kristen Stewart, who was in the Twilight films. And even though people said, "Oh, she's a great actress," it's like she was just never able to escape that Twilight bubble that she was stuck in. And even the shoplifting film she did a couple of years ago, I didn't see it, but everybody loved her in that. And I did see her in Still Alice, and I was like, yeah, she's pretty good in that. So I think Kristen Stewart is escaping that bubble of Twilight, but with critics, I think she's out of it. But with general audiences, I think there's still a lot of people out there who just say, "Oh, she's whoever in Twilight," and they associate her with that. Same with Robert Pattinson. He's not escaping that bubble anytime soon. But I think Dakota Johnson, I think for me, has escaped the bubble of that 50 Shades girl, and now she's a known name. I think with this performance, she again, especially her last scene, which I won't give away what she does or anything. Her last scene, she does, shows me stuff as an actress. I'm like, had no idea she could go that far as an actress. Yeah, and I don't want to say how, in what way she goes, far as an actress, but she delivers in this role physically and I think emotionally and emotively too. Really nails this role. I really liked her in it, yeah, and I think this and also I liked her in Bad Times at El Royale. I thought she was very different role, definitely, but yeah, definitely showed some grit and some toughness in that role too. Let's see here, who else did I like? I didn't know her. I hadn't seen her in anything till this one, but Mia Goth is in it, and she does a good job. Yeah, I don't want to. There's a big kind of spoiler thing which I had read in advance, so I knew it going in. But there's another character who's in there, and it's I'm not even gonna go there because it's a spoiler. So and I know there's a couple people I know that haven't seen it yet that want to see it, so I don't want to give too much away in case they end up skipping to an hour and 8 minutes into this video and everything. So I won't say that, but yeah, overall the cast I thought was really good, and of course Luca Guadagnino I think is a director we're gonna know for a long time now. With Call Me by Your Name and this, and I haven't seen it, but the Bigger Splash movie made a lot of critics happy and stuff. So I think he's a director who I think is going to only go up from here, for me at least. Whatever he does next, whether it's a Call Me by Your Name sequel or a sequel to this, he's talked about it. I'm on board. So yes. I liked the script for the most part. There were a couple of good lines here and there I liked. Like I said, that music. Tom York, I believe, is the composer. Holy shit. Good work. Dude, whoever you are, Tom York. I know he's a known property. Somebody will shout at me in the comment section what he's famous from. Is a band or something. Great work. God, that especially the music that plays during, I think it's Volk or whatever. It's the main dance they do in the film. I think it's also over that first teaser trailer that came out in May. Holy crap, I'm going to listen to that song over and over again just to creep myself out or something. But seriously though, I'm a guy, I don't scare at all in the movies. Like occasionally a jump scare will get me and stuff. In real life I'm very easy to just to get jump scares out of and stuff, but there were a couple spots I was very uncomfortable sitting there. And of course it was, by the time when I was seeing the movie, it was a mid-afternoon showing. It was me and two other people in the theater. But I don't know if I want to keep watching this. It was kind of not cringy, but it's like, it was just so, the big dance, showing that happens, like it's an hour and a half or even 2 hours into the movie. It's like when that happens, it's like all I don't want to say robotic, but just all the weird, yeah, doing all that. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, you're going to break something. Oh, God. And there is a great, great scene. Again, I don't want to give too much away. And I spoke with somebody before I saw the movie, and he said, you'll know there's a certain scene that'll happen. If you like that scene or if you get that scene, you'll be on board for the rest of the movie. And I was like, when the scene came up, I was like, oh, God. Oh, no. Oh. But I became instantly curious about what's going to happen next. Where is this going? So it is another one I've heard it compared to his Mother from last year, Darren Aronofsky's film, where you're either really, really into it or you're just like, what the fuck is this? And you want to walk out. It's a very polarizing film in that way. And I think, yeah, I think it's in the mid-60s on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff. That definitely shows. But yeah, personally, I was never bored by it. Always kept me guessing as what the fuck is going to happen next. Where's this going? Is this all going to make sense? Which for me, Mother totally, once I knew what Aronofsky was going for, I was like, this makes sense. And there wasn't really, except for one or two occasions, there was no false notes there. Just as far as it making sense and stuff. Here, there's a couple moments where, in the day after I've seen it and stuff, where I'm like, what was that doing there? Was that actually real, or was that a fantasy sequence? Or, there's still a couple question marks in that way, but after kind of reevaluating and stuff and reading the Wikipedia plot description once or twice, as is sometimes custom to me, then it's like, okay, well, that technically fits that. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's, I kind of compared it also to The Shining a little bit, where The Shining, for the most part, because I rewatched that one not too long ago, it's a narrative story that you can follow 100%, like, up until that last half hour or so. Then the weird stuff with the guy in the bear costume and the cobwebs all over the main entrance and stuff, and of course the famous image of Jack at the end. It's like all that stuff. It's like in the last half hour it becomes very mysterious and Kubrickian and all that, if you get what I mean. Whereas this one, you get that sense of it, but much earlier in the film, not just the last half hour. And even in that last half hour, there's a big scene. I'll leave it at that. A big scene that just, again, you might have checked out by this point if you're watching the movie, but it's like that scene is just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like, totally different from the rest of the film. Anyways, but yeah, but and then other technical aspect, the cinematography was great. So many good shots. I loved all the. There's a couple zoom ins and stuff, and a couple quick cuts that are very 70s. Even, or I'm not a big fan of the original. I only saw it once a while ago, and I was like, it was fine. I'll definitely watch it again after this. But it's like the original very much had that late 70s, Italian style with Dario Argento, the director. This, it matched it in some ways, but in other ways it was its own thing, and I liked how it kind of bounced back and forth. It paid homage to the original, but also wanted to do its own thing. I like when films do that. So, so overall, I was, like I said, I was never bored, very entertained for the most part. A couple parts, with all the weird dance moves, somebody jumps up and it's like, whoa, it's like a lot of weird stuff with there. Again, and you're either on board or you're not on board at that point, but it's like that stuff kind of got me a little bit. And yeah, so anyways, so there's a lot of good stuff to talk about with that one. And again, it's definitely not going to get any Oscar nominations or anything, but yeah, I enjoyed it. 9 out of 10 for me though. And that's something too. It's 2.5 hours plus, but I didn't feel it. Not really. I mean, they always say at the very beginning, the first thing you see before you even see a frame of the actual film, it says Suspiria, or it says whatever company, I think it was Amazon, produced it, presents a 6-act thing with an epilogue or whatever it was. So every now and again it'll say like scene or Act 1, scene, or Act 2, Act 3, and stuff. So when that stuff comes, it's like, okay, so that's where we're at. But it's like, especially when like Act 4, 5, and 6 came up, I was like, wait, we're coming toward the end. It's like, man, it came up on me. So yeah. So I enjoyed it in a kind of sick way in some ways, but also had fun with it. So yeah. So that's my feelings on that. And then quickly, we're going to mention AFI. They've had a couple, as we mentioned here. Mary Queen of Scots, actually, as we speak, as long as everything is on schedule, there is screening now, and we'll know in the next few hours if that one is a boom or a bust going forward. On the Basis of Sex was the opening night film, and for the most part, this one's getting mostly positive reviews off critics and stuff. Rotten Tomatoes, let me pull this up, 76% right now. A few of the reviews I've read have mentioned the story is kind of old hat. One particular review said if it was Eric Kahn of IndieWire says if this was 30 years ago, this would have been a tearjerker. Today, it's out of touch. Quote from him here. So yeah, that's that. I mean, not to be a dick about it or anything, but I that was kind of the response I felt would come out of it. But then a couple of reviews really, really, really liked it. Other ones were, again, not to say it's a polarizing film or anything here, but a couple of really good reviews, one or occasional really terrible reviews. But for the most part, one thing that stands out though, a lot of people do like Felicity Jones as Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So yeah, so that's one. She would have to. I think the film would have to be a bigger player in a couple other categories, I think, to really secure her a nomination. And it's that category, Best Actress, man. It's crowded enough as it is. So we'll have to see here. And then the other one that premiered was, if I've got the title right here, Bird Box. Is that what it's called? I can't even remember who's in it now. It's Sandra Bullock and somebody else. It's Sandra Bullock and Sarah Paulson, if I'm remembering right. It's a Netflix film. Is that the name of it? Bird Box? I thought it was something like that. Yeah, that's it. Actually, I have not read the reviews for this yet. Let's see. Split right down the middle on Rotten Tomatoes right now, 50%. I don't know what the story is on this one. This one is. It's the Netflix film, like I mentioned. They had bigger players this year with stuff like obviously Roma, Ballad of Buster Scruggs, and they had earlier this year 22 July, which kind of bombed out at a couple of the festivals, and they kind of realized right away they're like, yeah, we're going to put our money on Roma. And this one kind of came up too. It's Suzanne Bier, who's had a very, very hit and miss track record in recent years, especially like she did. What was one of her films won her an Oscar? It was which one won her the Oscar? Was it Open Hearts or was it? No, it was In a Better World. I think that was the one. I believe won the Oscar for foreign language film, and yes, that one did win. And then right away, the first thing she does after that, I think, is Serena with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence. And that one, I remember when it was coming out, people were making a big hoopla about it, and then it got pushed back, and then it kept getting pushed back, and then it kept getting pushed back, and then I think it finally came out, and it's 16% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, I never bothered with it, but so it's like, you go from that to that, it's like, and then there's this, so we'll see. And I think, actually, I remember reading her name somewhere else lately, too, so she struck up another deal for another movie, so I guess she'll continue, but yeah, again, a lot of, it's okay, a couple reviews like that, but yeah, nobody's particularly enthusiastic about this one, so yeah, that's the thing with AFI Fest. Sometimes you'll have a player like, I remember Big Short kind of came out of AFI out of nowhere, and all of a sudden everybody's like, whoa, so that one's a legitimate player, and then it went big at SAG and did well at Globes, and then we're like, okay, yeah, it's a definite player. Then you'll have years like this where it's like nothing really comes out of it. Like I can't even remember. Can't remember last year what played at AFI, but yeah, okay, we'll see. So yes, that leaves Mary Queen of Scots tonight, and that does leave now. Vice we know is now screening this weekend for select critics in LA and New York. So we'll know within about 48 hours from now or so, close to that, we'll know if that one again is another boom or another bust this season. So that only leaves Mary Poppins Returns, which I've heard one source said that the some screenings have happened, but I haven't heard anything since. I have not heard a peep out of anybody who saw it, so that's hearsay as far as I'm concerned. I haven't heard anything else, so that one I believe is not screened yet, except for maybe some people in Disney. And I didn't really consider it, but there was like I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was an article came up on Deadline where the theater owners organization, one of those, had a screening of the film, and they I guess gave it the longest standing ovation of any film in 10 years or 5 years or something. Which, theater owner, and they said, oh, it's going to make so much money when it comes out. Well, yeah, who's going to say that? The theater owners? Yeah, because they want people to go and see movies like that and, make them money. That's kind of the point. So, I kind of, most of them are not critics and not, legitimate, not to say that not legitimate in the film world, but it's just, you have to remember that there are people that are looking for money, probably number one above most everything else. But anyways, so I always take their word with a little grain of salt. Weren't they the same people that gave Batman v Superman a standing ovation? Yeah. Anyways, so keep that in mind. Then that also leaves Welcome to Marwen. We mentioned a little bit earlier that has not been screened yet. There's a couple other ones coming out in December yet that we haven't heard a peep from. Let me just, really quick, I'll just pull that up here. Well, obviously, like Aquaman, Bumblebee, a couple of those. Spider-Verse hasn't played yet, I don't think. They'll play in some of the tech categories and animated features, so keep those in mind for those categories. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Creed 2 screenings have begun for. We'll see, because that one, I remember the first Creed broke in very late to the game with the big press for Sylvester Stallone for supporting actor. He almost pulled it off too, almost. But yeah. So we'll see. That's the thing with Rocky. The first Rocky, of course, big hit at the Oscars. The second one, laid a goose egg. Nobody cared about it at the Oscars. So even though that was a pretty tough year, though, keep that in mind. So that would just leave Mary Queen of Scots is one of the last big ones yet to be seen. The Mule is another one yet to be seen, but I would imagine we'll have screenings for that very soon. Let's see here. Mary Poppins Return we've mentioned. Welcome to Marwen we mentioned. And everything else is played. Destroyer played at a couple of the festivals, and Cold War is one. Again, I think it's mainly playing for foreign language film, but I know a couple people in particular are very, very optimistic about its chances for cinematography and a couple of the other tech categories, and maybe picture. But yeah, that's a long shot at this rate. Yeah. So that's it. So yeah, we're really coming down to the wire now on films that are waiting for the last minute and going sight unseen all the way up to their release date. It's like that, I kind of told, because I was talking to somebody else too who was asking about Welcome to Marwen. They really like the trailer and stuff, and I was like, they were asking me, because I keep a tab on this and they don't. They're like, do you think it has a chance? I'm like, if it was going to be a big player at the Oscars where they thought it could land picture and actor, director, even for Robert Zemeckis, who has a history in that category, and film editing, and all the other big categories that need, I said we would have heard about it by now. Right now, we haven't heard a peep out of them. Right. Not very much, other than a couple trailers. So, yeah, so that's where I'm leaning on with that film as well. So, anyways, yeah, so this turned out to be actually a longer conversation than I thought it would be, but yeah, so I'm again planning tentatively on seeing more stuff. If not, then I'll have to wait till probably Black Friday before I see anything. And by then, Creed 2 will be out. I'll probably see that opening day if I can, or around that. I think it opens the Wednesday before, but whatever. I am pumped for it though. That first Creed movie, just knocked me on my ass. And yeah, I still stand up and say that Creed 1 is better than Rocky 1. Sue me. Sue me. I loved it. Yeah, I do want to see that movie Private War, though, with Rosamund Pike. She's one, and Robert Richardson is also the cinematographer on that one. Robert Richardson. I don't know if I fully pronounced his name or not. And he's a common nominee in the cinematographer's branch. So I'm curious to see that one. It also sounds like a very intriguing story, though, too. Yeah, and Widows. I really want to see Widows. I think the trailers were good, and sounds like it's for the most part very critically acclaimed. So yeah, and also I'm also curious about Beautiful Boy. Even though very early on I was very optimistic about it. I said on the Culture Vultures, I even said it. The poster and stuff reminded me of like Terms of Endearment, and had that very family dynamic kind of story, which like American Beauty and a couple others afterwards have kind of done that and have won Best Picture off of it. There's another example that came to mind, but now I've lost it. Anyways, so but yeah, like there are a couple of films here and there that have to do with the family dynamic and stuff that used to win but don't do so anymore. And it sounds like this one is not really gonna play either, except for maybe except for Timothée. So yeah. Okay, yeah, so let's wrap it up there, and we'll let's see, where are we gonna go next time? Let's see, we've got Gotham Awards are not for a while yet. Let's see, let me double check. When are they again? Let's see, do they say here? Let me pull up. Oh, it's November 26th. Okay, so that's almost 2 weeks out. That's one of the big first awards there. And then we'll have the Critics Awards. Those will start up, and some of the regional awards will start up the last week of November, going into December. Then, yeah, like I said, we're 3 weeks out from Globe nominations, so we'll have a lot more content coming up here in the next few weeks leading up to the start of the big dance of the Oscars.